Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm here with Dying and Designer. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. So Evil Eyes is coming, marks the beginning of a new chapter for you. So is there anything that inspired this shift into this darker sound for you?
Yeah, I think this darker sound has been here since I was an adolescent, young guy. I initially started out in hardcore bands
Mm,
and, you know, bands since I was like 14 and on, all in high school. And yeah, it's always been here, and I've always wanted to, kind of get this sound, this like type of energy out. But
yeah.
relying on a band and having a bunch of people has was really challenging. So I kind of did the
Mm,
DIY, like Dying a Designer, like early stuff was just so I can express myself in a way that was less complicated to do, I guess, more simple, but like more impactful on like the lyrics and things like that. But yeah, just been crafting this bigger, heavier sound. Uh, and this is something that like no one knows. So the goal was to always get here. And now that we're here, it's really exciting for everybody involved and, the fans. Um, I'm pumped for them to hear like the biggest, most polished, strongest kind of sound. So yeah, Evil Eyes is the first of that sound and the start of the new era.
yeah.
Uh, and it starts with Evil Eyes.
Yeah. So it explores being drawn to someone that you know will destroy you. How personal is that for you?
Uh, Very personal. I think that people have more an effect on you than I think most people ever like think. People's energies and kind of what they bring can mess you up for a long time. And the whole concept kind of behind Evil Eyes, growing up, in these bands and being, different into rock music, we've always been outcasts and like
Mm,
misfits, I guess, even by teachers or classmates. Um, so, from that, from an early age, I dealt with, being treated not the best by, kids in elementary school into high school. My household, I was being judged for being the way I was. And it kind of like, as you get older and you live life, you see it kind of everywhere. So Evil Eyes is kind of just that, when someone doesn't want you to do well, they're kind of just watching for you to fail. And I think a lot of people, there's people that want you to do well, but not better than them. There's people that want you to fail.
mhm.
Um, and it's hard to really know who really has genuine vision towards you or genuine heart and kind of wants you to see well and succeed and things like that. So Evil Eyes is just about, I guess, you know, being young age to high school to where I am now.
Mm.
Um, it hasn't went away, and I don't think it ever will. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
it's just the nature of it.
All right. So your work often touches on mental health. How has your approach to expressing pain or healing through music evolved over the years?
So I think I've always been an open book with kind of how I am and kind of what I'm going through. Um, like I said, from an early age, I've always dealt with a lot of, really tough things. I've never had a real dad in my life. He spent, 19, 20 years in jail. So I never really had a father figure. My stepdad really just didn't accept me, put me down. And my mom worked a ton. So I really felt like I didn't have anyone. And music, downloading music back in the day on the desktops, LimeWire and things like that, burning CDs.
Mm.
Like anytime I felt something and I was feeling this angst or depression or sad, I would put music on. It would always make me feel better. So seeing artists being able to express themselves and like it felt like I was with them, they were helping me get through what I was going through. Because at that age, I couldn't afford therapy. I wasn't in therapy. Like, you know what I mean? You're just like a kid. You're like, oh, you didn't figure it out. You're just a kid.
Yeah.
So um, I always wanted to express what I was going through to help others because that's how important music was for me and it helped me in so many ways. So I when I started this Dying and Designer project, it was like I'm just going to tell you what I'm going through, and I'm going to try and help you go through it as well. And as we are even getting heavier, it's even. I mean, it's bigger, it's deeper. Like I definitely have talked a lot on mental health. This new sound is there's so many layers to it, and I really feel like what I'm creating now is going to impact a lot more people and help them through, the hardship of life. I mean, because you're never going to stop having hardship as you grow up. Like life just keeps getting freaking hard.
Yeah. So with new metal on the rise, where do you see Dying and Designer fitting into that?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I try and ask people how to, like to, how could you describe our sound? Um, it's a really hard thing to describe, I guess, in a sense, because like there's so many layers of things and it comes from a lot of places, but it feels, I guess the best way to describe kind of what we're doing here is like nostalgia with like modern twist on it. So it's like, think of like when you were downloading music in 2005 or 2007 to like kind of some current stuff that's going on in the world and life, and people that have gone through this type of trauma from here all the way to here. So it's like compiling it all and expressing it through that. But yeah, as far as new metal, I think that this sound in the music that's coming out from this Dying and Designer project is going to be, you know, something very big, because I feel like what we are doing, the industry is kind of lacking. And not saying that there's bad and this and that. I just think that like the way this music feels, you'll know what I mean. It's hard to put it. You just got to like experience it to understand. It really takes you back, and I don't think a lot of current stuff takes you back like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we are going to stand out the most, and people are going to be like, "Holy shit!"
Hmm.
Um, so it's exciting. I'm excited for the world to really hear what's coming.
Yeah. And you've never been one to fit in a box, genre wise, like you've always
No,
kind of done it
no,
all.
no, never. I mean, even when I was coming up, it was funny because they would, categorize me as like an emo rapper, and I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm not rapping, I'm singing. There's like trap drums and stuff. So it was like,
Yeah.
kind of, what is he? Is it emo rap? But it's kind of like they would call me like the trap Tom DeLonge or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was just funny. So it's like people could never, and I don't think I've ever really wanted to fit in with anyone. I've always kind of wanted to just do what I wanted to do, and I think that's what you know has always made me stand out as an artist, because I kind of just am coming from the hardcore soul and just kind of being what I want to be, because like this is the only place that I feel like I really can be. It's like musically, and like clothing, obviously. Like that's something I'm really big in.
Yeah.
So that's like ways, and honestly, I feel like the best in the world when I'm creating or performing or things like that.
Yeah. And you have a very dedicated fan base. Has there been any messages or encounters with a fan that really stayed with you?
Um, yeah, there's a lot. My early audience, from like the album one, and then we just like I dropped the deluxe side of
Yeah.
nobody's happy. Nobody's happy too at the deluxe. I get a lot of messages from a lot of males, that are going through a lot of stuff, and even like the Spotify, like audience. It's a lot of males, and I think a lot of men don't really have people they could talk to. You're kind of told to be a man up, like you're going to figure it out. And, suicide is, higher for men. So I don't think they really have that outlet, like girls, get to like talk about it with their girls and their feelings. And it's important. And I think most men, if you talk about it, sometimes people will be like, oh, quit being like, so it's like, uh, it stinks. And yeah, I think kind of what I'm doing is kind of now the newer sound is kind of for everyone. But yeah, there's definitely been a lot of DMs and stuff, or people saying I've saved their life, or they discovered the song on the darkest night of their life, or they're contemplating doing bad things, and like me helping them through it. So I've messaged a ton of you know people who have reached out and things like that. And I hope that, the people that are watching this or listening to this know that they can reach out. And, if I may not see it, know that I'm here, and I'm going to express the best way I can through the music, and just know like I've had those thoughts, I've been in those places, and you're better here for sure. Like you don't know how many people you would actually hurt. It might not feel like people care about you, but don't make it. You'll mess up people for the rest of their lives because they trauma. Trauma loss and the loss of somebody important is you live with that.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot like my husband's actually who got me into you. Um, and at one
Heck yeah.
point your songs actually reminded of us of each other, but we made it work and now we're married.
Heck yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's always cool when your significant other could show you something and you guys can share it together, and that's always the
Oh
thing.
yeah. We've
So,
always connected
so
over
cool. Like,
music.
it's like, oh, cool. Like,
Yeah.
listen to, like, oh yeah, but you're singing along. That's definitely that's super cool. Glad that you guys like what we're doing, and
Yeah.
you guys could share that together.
So how do you hope listeners are going to feel when they hear Evil Eyes? What do you want them to feel for the first time?
So Evil Eyes, like this new stuff, there's a source of like when I was making a lot of my earlier stuff, I was in a pretty bad place, like really dark, and I mean, like the lowest I've ever been. And I sat and when I was, creating all this new stuff, I was like, you know what? I can't sound sadder than the listener. I got to sound like a source of like, hey, I'm here with you. We're going through this. We're going to get through this together. Um, so there's a source of like power and strength in this new sound, and I think when people hear it, they're going to understand. I mean, it's still very like you feel it to your core, and that was the whole point of it. Like really singing it from the deepest, darkest places, but doing it with a little different delivery. And it's kind of like I want it to speak fully to you, like your mind, body, soul, not just like your head or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just feel like when people hear this, they'll kind of know what I'm talking about. It's really hard to decipher it just through words. It's more a feeling, it's more a sound. And I really, at the end of the day, want people to feel this. And I want them to feel like, oh, yeah, like I got this. Like I got this. I'm feeling this, but I got this. Is
Yeah.
really the main purpose of the new stuff.
So if you could go back in time and play your new sound for your younger self, what do you think he would say?
I'd be blown the fuck away. I'd be like, this is my favorite band in the world.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Uh, yeah, I'm very like proud of myself and the band and being able to put this together, this new sound. This is what I've always dreamed of. So the fact that it's here
Mhm.
and like we did it,
Yeah.
it's amazing and exciting. And now the next stages are getting it out, getting on the road, people hearing this at shows,
Yeah.
screaming the words back to you. But yeah, I would be fucking pumped if I heard it. I would be like, "Yo, huge fan," and probably would listen to it a bunch and share it with as many people as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Because anytime I hear a good song, I'm like, "Do you guys hear this?" Like we were listening to a song in here before, uh, we rehearsed, and I like wanted to show everyone, like just a band that I heard. So, yeah,
Mhm. When you do hit the road, North Carolina is a great place to go. Just saying.
I would love to come wherever we're booked. We're gonna play any
Yeah.
size room, anywhere we're at. I know that I got fans like in many
Everywhere.
different states, cities, and as this stuff gets bigger, I think it's gonna touch a lot more people. So
Mhm.
we will definitely be in North Carolina soon. Soon.
If you had to describe the new sound in 3 words, what would you say?
I'm gonna ask them to help me out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with nostalgia. What do you guys think? How would you describe the new sound in 3 words? I'm going nostalgia is the first one.
Yeah. Ozfest sounds like early 2000s, to me. What do you guys? Heavy. Heavy. Heavy.
Yeah. And it's very melodic too, so we'll put
Yeah.
melodic in there.
So nostalgic, melodic, heavy.
All right.
There you
I
go.
like it. What is one non-musical thing about you that people would not expect?
One
Fun fact.
fun fact. Um, that's fucking tough. Um,
Dog, your business, anything?
I'm trying to think a little deeper, dude. Um, huh. Fuck, sorry. I'm struggling with this. I something that people don't know is like when they. I guess this is when people initially started seeing me as like dying into designer. I was like a scrawny, thin, two-toned, you know, uh, you know, kid, guy, whatever you want to call me. And I think like now I'm really in the gym every single day and put on a lot of muscle and strength, and gym is like my second home. So that's probably something that people don't know yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
Okay.
definitely that.
Who have you had on repeat lately on your Spotify?
Let me see.
Isn't it funny how when someone asks you that, you're just like, I don't know. You have to look.
For sure. Um, so the new Dayseeker song, Pale Moonlight. I
Mm,
really like the production. Really big chorus. Killer fucking song.
mm,
Belmont, Chicago guys, they dropped a new one called In the Sky. It's just a heavier sound for them. Still like pop punk layers, but it's just fucking mean and heavy. And let's see what else I got in here that I could. I've been playing a lot of Nirvana. I mean, just Kurt was special. And Spirit Box, I like the
mm.
new album a lot. I thought that was really well done and very very just melodic and yet heavy at the same time. So probably those is what I've been listening to most lately.
Okay. All right. And then is there anything that we didn't talk about that you really want the fans to know that you're allowed to share?
Jameson shaved his mustache.
Really?
Why'd you shave his mustache?
It'll come back.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
He has a gnarly mustache, but
Sometimes you don't want to eat mustache with your food.
Jameson shaved his mustache. No, we I always mess with him every time he shaves his stash because he'll have like the sickest stash ever, and then he shaves it. We're like, no, and then it comes back. We're like, yeah.
Yeah.
What's something I want fans to know? A lot of big things coming. Through all this stuff, we're in like a content-driven world and things like that. We're doing content differently. The content's not going to look like everybody else's. We're having a lot of fun of like diving into the concept of the album. So there's a lot of really cool, fun things that people are going to start seeing. So that's exciting. A lot of music, some live shows, tours, and yeah, people are going to get to experience all
Mhm.
of it very, very soon. I don't want to talk about what exactly is coming, but something's coming.
But it's coming.
It's coming. But it's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Super appreciate it. Really good talking to you. And
Yeah, you too.
you got the music. I don't know how much
I've
you
heard it.
got, but you heard it.
My mind was blown.
Yeah. Thanks a bunch.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you.
Eagle Eye up next. 6-6.
All right. Bye.
Bye.